This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, good morning. Any doubts from previous topics?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, once we created a master table, if we can add domains and data elements, customer city and customer orders to these fields, uh, then how to add the information to these fields, sir, in master table?
So in our last session, we haven't seen how do we add data inside a table.
Yes, sir.
I showed you, right? So if you go to
Okay,
any
sir.
table, let's say this is our table
Yes, sir.
and we have few fields. I
Yes, sir.
wanted data inside this table. Then
Yes,
go to utilities, table content, create entries, and
yes,
you
sir.
can data from here, save it.
Yes, sir.
And once you save, data will be stored in the database. Now
Okay,
you
sir.
want to see the saved data, then come here, table contents, execute. Now you can see the created entry from the
Okay,
database.
okay, sir.
Any other doubts?
Sir, I am asking about if we create new domains and data elements to the master table,
Okay.
then we can add customer id and customer city and customer orders this way. In these fields we enter like Hyderabad and customer ordered computers. Okay, it will enter the new fields, but already existing fields, how to add this information? Customer city, which city, if you add these two fields, how to add the information to that field, sir? Already existing fields.
Already existing fields means,
These fields, these two fields are there, sir. If we add new domain and data element to the
okay.
um,
And for example, I just added city here.
yes, sir.
Now, what are you saying? Now you have added one more field.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
how can I add data to this field, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Exactly.
So when you added any field, if you wanted to add data to the existing fields, first you have to execute and see whether is there any data in the table.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you see data is there, now you
Yes, sir.
wanted to add or change the data, then select, and here you have a change option.
Okay, sir.
Change and then enter here.
Okay, sir.
Save. Go back. And again second one, change, save, go back. And you need to remember only you can do the changes to the non-key fields.
Okay, sir.
it won't allow you a change to the key field.
Okay, sir.
If you still wanted to do the change to the key field, then you need to delete this entry. So to delete, I think it is not possible to delete entry. You have to use one more transaction. So that is SC16N
Okay.
slash O SC16N. Go to this transaction and exit. So from this transaction, you can do anything you want. So you
Okay.
can delete the entry and then recreate the new entry, modify the entry. Many options are there in the top.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Any other doubts?
Yeah. So, uh, so in the same scenario, if at all, if we want to delete existing maybe a column in this case, so we might already have a lot of code that is written on this table, like retrieving that column and all. So usually in real world scenarios, like how do we deal with that cases, like if you want to delete existing column, and that might affect a lot of other programs in the whole SAP system.
So when you are deleting, let's say I'm not deleting, let's say I'm changing some of the column value. Okay. So when you are doing that, table dependency checks will be there, which means if this table is used in different another programs, or if this particular field, whatever I am using, has been used in another, today actually we need to discuss about structures. So in that way, if the dependencies are there, system itself it will tell you there is a dependency. Make sure this change will not be affect on the others. That is one thing. So even though you have agreed you don't want this field from the table, you have removed and you have activated this table. Now, so once you completed this, then next action is what? You need to move this change to production, right? From the development system. So when you are moving from the development system, there is a process in any real-time world is a review process. There will be a separate team, reviewers are there, so they'll review what the change you have done. If you say the change in this particular stage, deleting the column from the table, then what they'll ask you is, did you verify where this table is being used, and have you taken care in that programs, is there any impact with this column removal? These questions they will raise. That is ABAP responsibility. Whoever is doing this change, he has to verify, is there any other table they were using it? If this deletion may impact on other programs or not, he has to verify and then come back. Let's say there is a program which is using the deleted column, then this program will go for dump because that column you have deleted. So you need to take care about that program also. From that program also you need to delete that field. So then only it will approved for the further process.
Yeah,
Understand?
yeah, got it. Thanks.
Any other doubts? Okay. Today we are going to discuss about structures. What is structure and why we use structure, and advantages of structure, and where we will use this structure, and types of structures. Today we are going to talk about these points. Moreover, it is about structures. What is a structure? To understand more about structure, first we have to look at a table. Table is nothing but which is a data container which store information permanently in the database. If you consider a table called VBAK, VBAK is a standard SAP table which stores sales order information. If you observe VBAK table, we will be having sales order ID, VBELN, who created, when created, the created person. Like this, we will be having nearly 200 fields are there inside the table. And along with this, we will be having data also. One more field is there, MANDT, which is client field. 800, let's say sales order number, set 10 digits, and ERDAT, 10th June 2024, and year and name, who created, Sanjay. Like this, we do have multiple records inside a table, not single record, with the different sales orders. Table is a combination of data and structure. So this is data, and whatever we see in the top, MANDT, VBLN, ERDAT, ERNAM. So this combination together, we say it is a structure. For table, we need memory to be assigned because it has to store information. Information means data. For structure, no need of memory because it is just a declarations. Structure is a combination of fields, group of fields together, we say it is a structure. We can see structures inside a table. So what is structure? Structure is a group of fields, and it doesn't have any memory assigned because it will not store any information. And why we use structures? For reusability purpose. So mostly structures are created for the reusability concept. What is this reusability concept? Where it will be helpful? Let's say a business, means a Tata Motors company is using SAP ERP software. They wanted to create different tables for their business purpose. A customer table to store customer information, a vendor table to store vendor information, and G sales table to store sales order information. Like this, as a business, they need many tables, and these tables will store data. Initially, let's assume SAP. SAP is the one who designed SAP ERP software, and they have created so many tables. So I given here, which is an example of custom tables. But in real time, uh, when you go to SAP ERP, customer details will be stored in KNA1 table, LFA1, vendor information, sales information, VBAK. We do have standard tables. and these are custom tables, what I am saying. Either custom tables or standard tables. If a requirement from the business used to create multiple tables, at that moment, we have to check inside the table what the fields they are asking. They need ID information, which is nothing but customer ID. Here also it is ID is there, and same ID field in sales table. If you look at the field ID, it represents customer ID when you use it in customer table. When you use it in vendor table, ID represents vendor ID. As like sales also, ID field which represents sales order ID information. And overall business, Tata Motors are maintaining ID information as a 10 characters. You will be maintaining 10 characters as requested by business for customer or for vendor or for sales orders. Now, business all of a sudden they wanted to reduce the number of characters, or they wanted to do some changes in the ID level. They wanted to give proper documentation about the field, or they wanted to change the data type inside the ID field. They need a change inside the field, length or anything. At that moment, if you are creating directly the field ID inside the table, you have to go inside the table and you need to change the field value directly in the table, which means 3 times you need to access table and then get into change mode and then change the length. Instead of that, if you create a structure with ID field, you have created a structure which is having field ID, and this structure you have used inside a table. Then what is the advantage of this is, instead of using field directly, you have used structure. Now when you use the structure inside the table, then if any changes occurred, if you do this change in the structure level, if let's say length from 10 to 5, if you reduced to length 5, automatically this change is reflected in all the tables. You don't need to go and individually change structure, data type or length inside the table. And for a better visibility purpose, if I wanted to know how many tables are using this field ID, immediately I can go with this structure because it is captured by a structure. From the structure, identifying tables is easy because one structure is used by the different tables. So many advantages we have when you use structures. That's where SAP, when they have created, wherever structure requirement is there, like whenever they observed a common field between the tables, they have created a structure, and that structure was used inside the table. Why we use structure? Because of the reusability. And the advantage of structures is we can do the changes inside the structure. When you do the changes, automatically all the changes will be reflected inside the table wherever the structure is used. And structures are reusable. You can use it in the table, or else you can use it in the programs also. Wherever you need a data object to be created like a structure, it will be used in program. During the program time, you will understand what about the data object. Structure is a group of fields which doesn't have any memory assigned, and structures are used for reusability purpose. Structures are widely used in database tables, and structures also used in programs. And types of structures. How many types of structures we have? Structures we have 4 types. Flat structure, nested structure, deep structure. Three types only, not four. We have three types of structures: flat, nested, and deep structure. Flat structure is the only structure which is we are going to use it in a table. This will be used inside table. Nested deep structures will be used in program. Flat, nested, deep. We do have three types of structures. Only flat structures we are going to use it inside a table, and nested deep structures will be used in a program. Now, usage. How do we use flat structure inside a table? There are two ways. Dot include is a command. By using this command, we can use a structure which is created inside a table, and also append. Append is one more keyword which is used to add structure inside a table. And dot include is only used in custom tables. Let's say I have created a table customer master. Only in my custom table I can use dot include. Dot include and append, both I can use. Dot include and append through I can add my structure inside this custom table. Append is the one only used inside a standard table. Dot include through I cannot add any data into any field into a standard table. We do have three different structures: flat, nested, and deep. Flat structures are going to use inside a table. Now we have two different types of tables. One is custom table, where based on the business requirement we are going to create, and one more table is standard SAP provided table. My table is custom, and if I wanted to add few fields inside this table through a flat structure, I can add it by using a command dot include and append. If my table is standard SAP table, I need to add few fields using a structure, then I can only use append. We will see elaborately from taking some table example so that it will be understandable. So I am going to create one table, and then we will create a structure, and we will use this structure inside my table. We will also see how this structure can be used by using include and append, as well as we will also see in the standard table how do we use append command. I'll go and create a table called customer roles. Customer roles is my table. First, I'll create this table. And this table is having customer ID and roles information. Whether this customer is having creation role, modifying updation role, or deletion role, what role he has. That details I'll maintain in this table, customer with the roles. And I'll also create a structure. This structure is carrying country, region, fields. And this country and region fields, I need it in my customer roles table. Whatever a structure I have created, I'll use this structure inside my table with the dot include command. So that country, region will come here, fields. And then I'll create one more structure inside this custom table by using append. The field what I am going to enter here is user ID. I'll maintain user ID through this append structure. First, I am going to create a table customer roles with two fields, customer ID and roles. And second, I am going to create a structure. In this structure, I am going to create two fields, country and region. After that, I'll use this structure inside my table with the dot include, and then I'll append. By using append structure through, I'll add one more field inside this table, which is user ID. Once after this is done, I'll maintain data, I'll execute, I'll show you the content, whatever we maintain inside this table. Let me get into the system. Transaction code for a data dictionary is SE11. Now, if you wanted to create a table, select this radio button and create table starting with Z. After that, provide some meaningful name. I am going to create this table for Tata customer. Hence, I was using G followed by Tata and customer, and this is for roles, customer roles maintenance purpose. Click on create, continue, provide short description, table to store customer roles information. Now delivery class. Delivery class, we are not maintaining through any application. Application means BA01 sales order creation T code, XD01 customer creation T code. If you are using XD01 to upload this data, then that is called application. If we are not using any application to maintain information, either you can choose customizing table, maintenance only by customer. So you can choose category as C, customizing table, where you are going to maintain, user is going to maintain information into this table. And display maintenance allowed, user is able to maintain data. Save as local object. Now go to technical settings. Now data class. What kind of data you are inserting into this table, which is a master data, transaction data, or organization and customization data. And these are related to BW tables. Master data means data which is not going to change frequently, which is master data. VBAK header information, sales order header information is a master data. Item information is a transaction data, VBAP. And organization data. So my table, Tata customer role, which is maintaining by customer through customization. Hence I am choosing this APPL to organization and customizing. And user customer data class. You can choose user also, user 1, user 6. These are user 1 also you can choose, because customer is going to maintain data inside this table. Data class normally represent what category information you are inserting into the table. As I told you, an example like library, inside you have different education related books are kept into individual racks. In a rack, name it as ECE, 10 books are there. By looking at the rack,
you will say those 10 books belongs to EC because you have never seen open any book, but by far distance only you are saying those 10 books are belongs to EC because those are kept in EC rack. Like that, if you choose this category, database table is going to sit underlining database under this category, which is a ECE rack. User one is a CSE rack, triple E rack, like this under the database. Now choose user or APPL2, whatever it is, you wanted to put this particular data inside that particular rack. I'm choosing APPL2, size category 0, 0 to 9 we have. 0 means at least 5000 records will be stored inside the table. And these are buffering related. We will discuss later. First of all, these are the minimum mandatory inputs. Provide the mandatory inputs, data class, size category, save and back. Now go to field section, enter your field which started with MANDT, which already said what is the importance of MANDT, why we use MANDT. For better memory consumption, we must have to use MANDT. Without MANDT also, your table will be stored, but a warning message will be appeared. Now, the second field, what is the second field? Customer ID and roles. Customer ID. This is a key field. Key field means which will not accept duplicate entries. That is the meaning of key field. And if you know any data element which exists and provide you the data type and length, you can use that. Otherwise, you can create your data element domain as discussed previously with started by G. You need to enter G to create data element or domain. I know a customer ID field which is already created by SAP. I am using that. Hunar is a field data element which is created by SAP. And then roles. For roles, we don't have a table. I think we do have a table. Let me check. AZR underscore roles. This is called wildcard search. If you are wanted to see the tables inside SAP, you can provide names whatever you remember and then give stars and click on F4, so that if anything will be there with that name, you will be getting that. Let me check this field. ACR name, role name. Let me take this data element. Two fields are added, customer ID and roles. Now save check activate, save check. Enhancement category, which is a warning message. If you ignore, there is no issue. Save check activate. Warnings, no need to display. You can see the status as active. Table was created and status is active means table is created in database with fields MANDT, customer ID and roles. If you want, you can go and maintain data by choosing this utilities, table content, create entries. But I will not maintain now. I'll create structure with the country and region, and I'll use this structure inside my table. Now structure creation. I'll be open this session as it is. I'm going to another session. To open new session, we have to use /o se11. Now two sessions are open. /o use is It will not kill the existing session. It will open another session parallel. Now to create a structure, you need to choose data type and then specify meaningful name, a customer, country. This is my structure name. Click on create. Now choose structure and provide short description. Structure to carry customer, country, fields. Now here provide information about the fields, country, and choose types. Now you need to choose component type as data element. Data element for country, as I already know, land1 underscore GP. This is a standard SAP created data element. And region. Region types followed by regio is a data element SAP created. I am using this. Now save as a local object. Check warning message, ignore. If you wanted to overcome this warning also, you know already what needs to be done. You need to go to extras, enhancement category, and then you need to choose based on the data type, what kind of data types you are using. Based on that, you need to choose a respective enhancement category. So if you are using character, you can use can be enhanced character, or if you are using character and numeric also, you can use can be enhanced character type or numeric. I'll be choosing this because we don't know, we are going to use numeric also. Enhancement category which is useful for future enhancements of the table or structure. Now save, check, activate. There are no warning messages. Now you can see the status active. Copy your structure name. Now go to the table. Now I am going to call this structure inside my table. Normally, if I wanted to maintain country and region information in this table, whatever fields I have created in the structure, same way I need to create here. But instead of creating manually, I understood there is a huge tables are expecting country and region information. Because of that, I am creating the structure instead of manual creation. Now, wherever table, which table it is required country and region, I am going to call this structure inside that table. If customer roles table required country and region, I am going to call this structure inside this table. How do we call? With a statement called dot include. This is the calling statement of your structure and followed by your structure name. Enter. Now save, check. This is enhancement category. As I said, enhancement category here you can choose so that this warning message will not come. Now save, check, activate. If you observe this table, two fields are created directly inside this table and two other fields which are added inside this table through a structure. Now country and region also coming inside this table. If you wanted to see the fields, place the cursor on include and click on this expand. Now you can see total how many fields are there inside this table is 5 fields: MANDT, ID, roles, country and region. So structure through you can create a fields, but structure it doesn't hold any memory. The structure will not be having any memory and it won't store any data. Whenever you use structure inside a table, memory is allocated to structure and data also gets allocated to the structure fields. Now save, check, activate. Status should be activate. If you want, you can go utilities, table contents, create entries. Through you can maintain data inside this table. but I'll maintain this data after this final field, user ID. I wanted to create one more field, user ID, inside my table. I'm not going to create user ID directly in the table. Instead of that, I'll use one more structure, append. If you go to here, there is a tab called append. Click on this and provide a structure name starting with G and user. Click on continue. Now provide short description, append structure to add user field. Now enter your field name, user ID, and this is types. And user ID, if you are not sure is there any field exist by standard, then you can create your own user ID also. I'll create my own data element, Z user ID, which is already created by someone. So I am using this. This is custom creation, save as local object. So this was created by a person, so and so date. This is customer created one, not SAP created data element. Whereas other previously created data elements are created by SAP. Now save, check. For this also enhancement category, if you want, you can maintain it for future enhancements. It is just a warning. If you not provided also, no issue, table structure will be created. Save, check and activate. Field user ID does not lie with customer namespace. So what it was saying, customer namespace is expecting. Customer namespace means adding G. To distinguish, user ID is a field which is already there in standard SAP tables also. That's where it was saying if you can provide a G, that could be better, because already with a field name user ID, standard SAP has been created fields. And also that is a warning. If you want, you can go ahead or you can ignore it. But system will not stop you to use the user ID inside this field. Warnings are just for your information purpose. It won't stop you to create anything. Save, check does not lie. So again it is saying G user ID also does not lie with customer namespace. If you okay with this, you can go and activate so that your field will be added. Otherwise, normally for append structures, I think ZZ double characters will be expected. Save, check, yes. So it is expecting 2 digits as your first initial characters. Now activate. Once you activated, automatically the field which you have created using this append structure, which is added at the end of the table. If you wanted to see, place the cursor, drag. Now you can see include through, you have added country and region, and append through, you have added user ID field. And this is append structure. Tata user is a append structure, and the above one is a include structure. And moreover, the two structures are the examples of flat structure. We have said structures, we have 3 different types, right? Flat, nested and deep. The structures whatever we created just now, which is an examples of flat structure. The meaning of flat structure is, if you create a structure with the fields and associated type is a data element, then that particular structure is called flat structure. You have created your structure with the components or fields type followed by the associated type as data element. You have used data element for your fields or components. That's why this structure is called flat structure. For nested and deep, the abbreviation is different. Nested structure means if you created a structure with the component type followed by associated type is one more structure. In that case, it is called nested structure. For deep structure, it is different. If you create a structure with the component type with followed by associated type as table type, then it will be deep structure. We will discuss about nested and deep later. So we have created a structure with the fields or components with the type followed by associated type as data element. Hence, this structure is called flat structure. And flat structures are the only structures can be used inside a table. So we created this structure and then we have used inside the table by using include command. And also if you observe include command through, you can add your structure anywhere in the table. That is possible. If I wanted to add my structure after customer ID, then you can add your structure after customer ID by just clicking this expand insert row. When you click on this insert row, roles will come down and then you can use this dot include in between customer ID and roles so that your structure fields will come customer ID as first and then remaining fields country and region next and further followed by roles. But the flexibility of adding anywhere inside the table is only possible for include structure. It is not possible for append. When you use your fields to be added inside a table by using append, always your fields will be added at the end of the table. You don't have an option to insert anywhere you want. Always append will be added at the end of the table. And include or append are the commands which are used to add our structures into a custom table. And only flat structures only can able to add inside the table. Flat structure means structure with the type followed by data element. Now save check activate. So far what we have seen today, we created a table with the fields MANDT, customer ID and roles. After that, we have created a structure. This is our structure. We have created this structure with the fields country and region. After creation of the structure, we have used this structure inside a table by using dot include, and then we created one more field user ID inside this table by using append structure. And if you wanted to maintain data inside this table, you can go to utilities, table contents, create entries. Provide information inside this table. So this is change role, country is a region. Region India, Hyderabad. User ID, user. My ID is user. Save it. If you want, you can maintain multiple entries. Where I'm getting this roles information because I have used a standard data type. From the standard data type, I am getting this helper. If this help is not getting by you, if you created a custom data type, in that case, you can maintain normally, directly the role, whatever you want. And this is Delhi. And this is user ID. Save. 3. 8. Save. So now 3 records are created. If you wanted to see the data inside this table, go to here, table contents, execute. Now you will be getting the information. If you wanted to change any record information, select, click on change and modify information, whatever you want, and then save it. Now modified information will be displayed here. We create a table with ID roles directly created inside this table. Country, region are created through include structure, flat structure. User ID was created through append. Append always added at the end. Include through, you can add anywhere in the table, that is your choice. Any doubts so far today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if no questions, we will wind up for day.
Yeah, hi Sanjay. This is Uday. Can you hear me?
Yes, tell me, Uday.
Yeah. I joined for the first time today. Like I joined in the intro and then I could not join because of certain reasons. So yeah, regarding this session, right? I'll talk separately on how to come back to the speed on already covered topics. But on this session, right? Like you gave include and an append. What's the difference between these two, and what's the purpose of append differently from include actually?
So standard SAP tables, you don't have access to change. Let's say I wanted to put some field, a custom field. Custom field means our customer, he wanted to add a field to sales table that is only for his business purpose. Then SAP, they did not allow to modify their tables, and at that same moment they have provided this append. What is happen if you use append, that custom field you can create, but what will happen, your field will be added at the end of the table without disturbing the standard SAP table flow. That is the
Okay.
way, that is the reason we have this append structure. So basically, include structure, append structure, nothing but we wanted to add a logically related fields in a table. So
So
in
there
that
is,
case,
I mean, yeah,
we will do this.
just give an, sorry, a small update actually. So I'm in SAP from some years actually, right? I'm a functional consultant and I have some knowledge on it. So if I'm, yeah, just to give my background, yeah, I'm interested in learning ABAP, so that's the reason I joined in this session. Yeah, coming back to that question, right? There is a concept called Z fields, right? Is the Z fields uh, in a standard table, like it could be VBAK or VBRK or material related tables or custom related tables? Are we? It has to be include. It has to be added through only include and append structures only, or is there a way?
Only include and append structures only. But the thing is, standard tables like Mara, VBAK, these tables, you cannot use your include structures if you create it separately. In those tables, you can only use append.
Okay. Yeah. Again, the question is like, what's the difference between include and append? What's the fine difference between these two?
Fine difference.
When
Uh,
there is include, why should I require append? Or if I rephrase.
include means you have a choice to modify your table. Append means you are not going to modify the table, you are just enhancing the table. These two are technically two different things will be there. Modifying means existing structure you are disturbing, that is include. In include through you can add anywhere you want, but if you wanted to allow without disturbing the existing structure but enhancing something, then it's a append. When you use, your field will be added always at the end of the uh, table field. Let's say in a table four fields are there. If that table is allowing to add fields, then through include you can include anywhere you want. You can disturb the existing structure, and obviously that disturbance will also be taken care where this table is being used. That is include. Append, let's say you have added four fields in a table and later you wanted to add few more fields and you have given only choice to append. Then when they added a new fields through append, that new fields will be added at the end after four fields. So when it is added at the end, a structure may not have any impact. So
Okay.
technically, there is a lot of difference between these two. If you see, observe any field when you add it through append, you can see that fields are added at the end, and when you are added at the end, there is no impact on the existing fields behavior.
Okay.
I have two questions here. So the first one is, the first one is like, uh, as I think you mentioned, the structure is not going to take a memory. It's just to be kind of to use to use the concept of reusability. We are defining structures and we are making use of the structures so where we want. So but when we have these structures defined and we are making use of the structures in other tables, but at the same time, whenever we want to modify a structure, it is going to impact all other places wherever it is being included. So if you wait, or if you wait between the so the other way of doing it is like, instead of using include, we can directly add all of the fields in the table. But again, it's a maintainability issue. I agree with that. But so as it's not going to take any but coming to this, it's going to be a maintainability issue, right? So if you change the structure, it has to be changed across all the dependent includes, right? So
Yeah,
when you wait between the maintainability versus the
that is
memory that we are saving using the structures, so I feel like the maintainability is a more weight, right? So what is the real world advantage we are going to get with the
that is actually the advantage. So you have used a field in 100 tables, and all of a sudden your business come to you saying that that particular field related technically we wanted to change some length. Then you have to go each table and then do the changes. Instead of that, if you have created a structure and that structure used in 100 tables, and if business asking you to do that particular field change and that field is added through 100 tables through a structure, then when you are changing the structure field length, at the time itself it will propose you this change will reflect in all the tables wherever being used. Do you still wanted to proceed? Then you can go and proceed. So that is what actually an advantage. So you have a tightly coupled between the other objects where it is being used. That is actually needed also.
okay, got it. Yeah. So another question is, I think, can you give me a real time examples, maybe from your experience, like So where exactly we used include, like, so we already had a table, and can you give me a scenario where you had to add disturb the structure in between, kind of a real-time project scenario, so that we can use it in the interviews?
When we have enhancement topic, at that time we will discuss customer exits, screen exits. At those times you will see how this append structure are really helpful. How do we add custom fields to the standard tables?
Yeah, okay, thanks.
It is all like connected. Okay, so we were in a foundation phase. This is fundamentals, basics. Just there is actually a real cases rise of objects. That is what our customers are using. So whatever you are learning, these are just basics. Next phases, when we are talking about those objects, you will see where these are all applicable. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sanjay, on the Sagari's first question, right? So we were talking about the structure doesn't store technically. That means it doesn't use the database. But my understanding by seeing after this session is like it will be stored in the table where it is calling, right? Somewhere it is stored in the database, and the bits are used, right? The memory is used. Is it a correct statement?
It's not like database is not going to store structure. Every structure it will store in database only, but it will not receive any memory from the database. It doesn't require any memory to be assigned to the database because you are not going to store anything in that structure, which
But
means
that's sorry, go
you
on,
have a
please.
hard disk. Let's say hard disk is a database. In that hard disk you have created a folder. So when you created folder, some memory will be allocated, right? Let's say 100 GB something, because in that folder you are going to store something. That is what table. But let's say you have what we can say some temp files are there, so those does not require any memory. It just there in the hard disk. So structure, when you have used in a table will it will allocate memory to the structure to
Correct.
accommodate, to store the data.
Got it, Sanjay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, if no questions, we will wind up. We'll meet you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you, Sanjay.